Okay, so everyone should be getting their first week of the home buying process, the 90 days. So that's exciting. Today, Eric and I wanted to talk about uh, basically questions to consider when you're thinking about buying. And I think probably everyone that's watching this has already maybe made the decision that they want to buy. So, but there's always, it seems like a lot of people always have like a roadblock or an issue, something that's holding them back from buying, today essentially.
A lot of times it might be nerves too, just not knowing the process, not knowing what they don't know, right?
And guessing. Doesn't
Yeah.
it seem like a lot of them just kind of guess? I think so. When do you think someone should get in touch with a real estate agent? At what point?
Well, there's a question out there. Do we talk to a lender first? Do we talk to an agent? Do we start looking on our own? My suggestion, and I think both of us are on the same page, the first step and really what you should do is get in touch with a trusted professional, a trusted agent that you either know or somebody's referred you to them or you found them through reviews or however you want to find them. But yeah, get in touch with an agent because they'll be able to help you answer those first questions and get kind of the ball rolling maybe.
Yeah. I feel like sometimes people don't realize that we can be, we can counsel them through some things.
Right.
I mean, we've seen everything. We've seen people say, I don't want to move my kids during the school year.
Right.
Or how do I sell and buy at the same time so we're not homeless for a month in between? Or how does that affordability look like? And I think they need to have all the answers first, right?
Right.
So,
You definitely don't need all the answers. Definitely, that's why we've created this program and we're trying to put it out there to help people to take that first step and to get the knowledge or get the understanding that they might need, so that they can do the things that need to be done to get them to where they want to go. Because analysis is paralysis. If you don't take a step, you're going to be in the same spot.
yeah, and I think that's one of my favorite parts is not just opening a door, it's actually like helping people, figure it out and,
Yeah. Counseling them along the way, answering their questions, guiding them, making sure that they have the answers or the understanding of what it is they're trying to do so that they can make those decisions the best for them.
Yeah.
And have somebody to bounce those ideas off of. To me, it's like when I go buy something, I would rather, have somebody there with me because people feel better when everybody's together or when there's other people doing the same things, right?
Yeah. What do you think that buyers need to consider, when it comes to their timeline? Like, we say 90 days. Is it going to take 90 days? What do they need to ask themselves to figure out a timeline for them?
Well, my thoughts are, we've seen a lot of different things people come across, but I would say the first thing that they need to, do they know what they want? Do they know what they're looking for? And do they have an understanding of can I do it? Meaning financially, are we in a position and are we in a place where, yes, we want to make a move or yes, we want to do something to change our scenario. So I think the first thing is just coming to the realization for themselves of, is this the right time? Are we in a position financially to maybe make that step? And if you don't have that answer, that's why getting back with an agent or getting with a trusted professional, because they can guide you and help talk you through those things to see if it is ready or if you are ready.
Yeah. I think sometimes people have these objections on why they can't right now. Sometimes it's just a speed bump that can be worked around, and sometimes it's a stop sign. Right. So like, how do they, sometimes it's, how do we cancel everyone watching? What's the difference? Like, how can they determine what's the difference? Because, sometimes I talk to my teenagers and they ask me a question, they need help, and I start to answer and they just, no, I can't do it that way. No, I can't do it that way. Someone wants to buy a house. I want to help them, but I don't want to, push anybody, but I want them, to be able to decide for themselves. But no, some of these things can be worked around. We can easily make it happen.
Yeah, so the difference between a stop sign and a speed bump would be, in my mind, would be I just don't know what the steps would be. The next step would be to make the right, to know whether I'm ready to buy, or and a stop sign would be like, we have poor credit, or we don't know or we're in a position, we're not in a position financially, or we've got a bunch of family stuff, or transitions and things going on at home that put us in a position where it doesn't really.
Or maybe it's a slowdown, right? Not necessarily a stop sign.
Just a pause or a yellow light versus a red light.
Yeah.
But that would probably be more of a question. That's why it's important in my mind to talk to an agent, because without understanding what it is they are looking for, because again, we got to remember, this isn't about us. This is about helping them accomplish what it is they want to do. So that's another reason why getting with an agent would be helpful, because you can have those conversations and be able to say, here's my scenario, here's what I'm going through. Do you think this is a good time? And then they can bring in the other added pieces, whether it be a lender, whether it be whatever it is, to see if it is the right time.
Yeah. What do you think is the number one thing that's holding back buyers from moving forward right now? Like, what are you hearing? I know what I'm hearing. I'm just curious, if we're on the same page.
Yeah, part of it, there's two things, I think. There's definitely demand and urgency, and people want to do stuff. The first thing is inventory levels, because I'm personally in that position where I would like to do something, but I look at the inventory and there's just not a lot of options depending on what it is that I'm looking for personally, but everybody in general. The inventory levels are historically low still. The other thing would be that's making people pause across the nation really is interest rates and affordability. The affordability and interest rates are really what I'm hearing. Is that
I think the same thing. They're, it's a pendulum, right? So people are like, oh, I'm going to wait for interest rates to drop. When that happens, generally home values go up. Yeah. And then they're like, well, I want to wait for the home values to go up. And timing the market is almost impossible. But not that I want to discount any of those feelings, but there's ways, to make that work. There's ways that, buyers can get excited still and move forward, because it's not as black and white as like the media and everything is making it sound.
One of the things that I remember hearing a lot, pieces of advice, there's never a bad time to buy real estate. It's understanding your scenario and your time frame and your life decisions and things that are going on in your life that are going to help determine if now is the right time, or if 6 months, or if three months, or whatever the time frame is. But as long as you have a long-term vision with real estate, you're never going to lose. And I say that because I've done it myself. If you're looking at real estate in the short run, there's always the potential of buying at the wrong time, or potential of a loss if you have to go and sell it. But in the long run, real estate's never a bad investment. It's the one of the number one ways that people create wealth in today's world is through real estate.
Yeah, I 100% agree. So I'll just wrap up with one other thing. I think that sometimes it's like scary to reach out to a real estate agent. They want to have all the answers ahead of time, and they don't want to be pushed in to buy anything. They're not ready to buy, but they might have some questions. And so I feel like a lot of times people reach out via, text or email, and I think that that's great, but sometimes they're afraid like it's going to prompt a phone call. What is your thoughts on that? Sometimes there's a more in-depth answer, so it's hard to just respond with a text. But in this day and age, people don't, they might reach out, sign up for something on social media, but they don't necessarily want like 100 phone calls following up after that. And so it scares them from even taking that step.
My thoughts on it are, a text is great, but you're not going to get the ball moving forward, or not going to have a real good constructive conversation without a phone call. So that an agent really, or we can't really help people effectively without even a 10 or 15-minute initial phone call. And that's the one stigma I'd like to try to get away from for people is we're not here to push anything down their throats or sell them anything. This is all about them, but we want to be that person that's in their corner, that's advocating for them and helping them accomplish that goal of home ownership or moving to the next home up, or creating that, if it's I want to create that hobby farm or have that home with the shop so I can work on my toys and spend time with my family in the yard, or whatever their dream is, of home ownership. We just want to be able to do that, and we can't do that effectively with them without having a conversation. So I personally would love to get the stigma out there, get the stigma away that I'm never going to shove anything down their throats. Call me, let's have a conversation. If it doesn't lead to anything, that's fine. My biggest thing is we want to create those relationships with people so that when they are ready, they feel like they've got an advocate in their corner or somebody that they can easily send a quick message or create that phone conversation real quickly and be able to start the dialogue.
Yeah, I think that, whether it's now or 5 years from now, we just want to be the call that they make and they feel comfortable making.
Yeah.
And so, so good luck. We're excited for the journey over the next few weeks.